Heidi, yesterday we spoke to a couple of people about, including Cladi from SAA, about those chartered flights coming back, especially the flights coming back from Germany next week. Have you been in contact with some of those South Africans stuck in Germany or all around the world?
No, we've just been speaking to people stuck all around the world, but I am on a number of WhatsApp groups where people are extremely concerned with the fact that when they arrive back in South Africa, they are going to have to be quarantined for 14 days. And they are saying that this is extremely concerning given the fact that they don't know where they are going to be quarantined, and they are worried that they're going to be split from their families and children given the fact that we have to make sure we social distance. So many South Africans are saying perhaps it's better if I just stay where I am given the fact that we don't know what we are going to expect in South Africa when we come back, and also because many are saying that South Africa is almost 2 weeks behind from the global trend and that we are going to see a massive uptick in infection rates in the next 2 weeks. So many people are unsure of whether or not they can come back, and if they should come back, and are very worried about the state that they'll come back to. So it's uncertain for them. They are stranded. They don't know if they should come back, but they also don't know if they should stay there, given the fact that many are running out of money, many are running out of options as to where they can stay because of the various lockdown regulations that they are experiencing in these countries.
And certainly there must be uncertainty from their part on the kind of treatment that they would get in these foreign countries should they decide to stay. But Heidi, I want to ask you, on these WhatsApp groups, surely there has also been some kind of representation of the good work that South Africa has done. We've seen various groups repatriated from Wuhan, all very successfully. I think South Africans are quite critical of our government and the processes that we follow, so we watch very closely. And yet those procedures went down without a hitch. All of those who came back were quarantined, from what we can understand, in relatively comfortable circumstances in hotels. They were monitored regularly and they all tested negative. Is anyone reflecting that on these WhatsApp groups, or is it all negative and fear-mongering?
You know, unfortunately, I really have not seen anything positive. The only positive thing I saw on that WhatsApp group was that there's a group stuck in Russia and they've decided to braai. And they're saying they're taking the Ubuntu spirit back to these countries. But it's interesting you ask that question, because I'm actually in conversation with a number of South Africans that were brought back from Dubai just this past week, that they were on that cargo flight, and they are extremely unhappy. We are just waiting for some further detail as to what the actual problem is, but it appears to be that they are saying they are very uncomfortable where they are. The food is very cold, they're not able to have hot showers, they don't have any indication as to when they can go out. They are confined to their rooms, so people are very worried, and Annelie, it's understandable. They were on holiday or they were working abroad, and they now need to come back and they need to quarantine. So I think people are they want their lives back, and unfortunately it's not going to be that way for a very long time, and it's just very unpleasant all around. But we must say that governments, I even spoke to Durka yesterday, and government is trying their very best to get these South Africans back. It's not going to be a pleasant situation. It's not going to be a 5-star hotel. They are trying to sort this problem out, and also it's a matter of funds. It's a very expensive exercise, and given the fact that SAA is trying to repatriate these South Africans stranded, the facilities are difficult to find. You can't put them in 5-star hotels. It's a very expensive affair. So government is trying, and they're doing their very best.
I suppose the first step that we should be happy about is that there is sufficient communication from the government side to the embassies of these countries where South Africans are stranded. Is that the sense that people are saying there is enough communication?
Yes, I mean, some people are saying that where they are, some of them are on islands, some of them are in mountains, and they can't get down to the city, and they're saying that they're struggling to get through to these embassies. So that's a very big problem. But just before we end off, I think it's important to highlight the fact that SAA is going to be taking a number of Brazilians back to Brazil as of tomorrow afternoon, and then hopefully South Africans will be able to get onto that flight to be brought back to South Africa. So there is that repatriation process that's happening between SAA and these Brazilians that are going back, and that flight coming back.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for that update. Heidi Jokas, following all the international angles on South Africans stuck abroad.